Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 15th of October 2021 to talk about everything that went down tonight on both AEW Rampage and the Supersized Friday Night Smackdown. So, in regards to everything going on, I think tonight was a great night for professional wrestling. We had 2 hours of, I had to think about this for a second, 2 hours of AEW. We had 2.5 hours of WWE tonight, and both shows were pretty good. I think, in all actuality, the best match of the night, Suzuki Danielson. But the best show overall, I would have to give it to WWE and Smackdown. And not just because they were longer, they had, the extra half hour or anything. Just overall, I think SmackDown had the better show. And I always usually think that SmackDown is better than Rampage, to be completely honest. Because Rampage is just for the most part, all about having some cool, good matches. Yet, when it comes to SmackDown, that's a show about matches and storylines and this and that. And I always like, storylines over just a bunch of matches. Hence why I'm not the biggest fan of watching Dark and Dark Elevation every week, because it's just match after match, boom, 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 boom kind of thing. Yes, we get some storyline element things on Rampage, but that's not the focus of Rampage. Rampage is not about building stories for the most part. It's usually about ending stories and what's the word I'm looking for? Just having good matches, which we had tonight. And we had 2 really good matches on the show, which we will talk about first here. But I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. No, Twitter.com/PWU Unlimited. Just looking at the chat really fast. All right, I will check that later. But with that, remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out either by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can subscribe either with a tiered subscription, just like, and I'm going to probably say this name wrong, Gil Pedro did yesterday. No. You can subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can be like Gil Pedro and subscribe with Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. Why is my mic so low? There we go. Greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to us right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited on Twitch. But if you say, hey, I don't have Amazon Prime, I don't pay Jeff Bezos, you got to know somebody that does, whether it's your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, your grandma, your grandpa, your dog walker, your, mechanic. Say, hey, any of you got Amazon Prime? Yeah? Can I link it to my Twitch account? Yeah? Support PWU Unlimited. Also, on the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out in the live chat with a super chat or a super sticker donation, where all super chats do get read live on the air if we ever get, when we get them. And remember also, you can hit that join button down below, become a member of the Unlimited Army, become a channel member, and support us. With doing so, you get early access to news, early access to non-news videos, early access to podcast episodes, and so much more. But with that, I want to read this right here really fast. This person says, telling Balor. Oh yeah, that's I knew about that. K. Balor just talking about the feud in NASCAR going on with Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick. Yeah, that was something that was talked about like 2 days ago. NASCAR actually contacted the 9 team and the 4 team and said, hey, this crap is over. You're not going to retaliate to each other on the racetrack. Whoever does, repercussions. Repercussions meaning we're going to sit you for the rest of the year probably. Not for sure for the rest of the year, but most likely for the rest of the year, even though there's only 4 races left, I want to say, in the season. Only 4 weeks left. And what is it? We've got Texas, Kansas, Martinsville, Phoenix. I think that's all that's left. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. But we're not here to talk about NASCAR. Good. Should. Love it. But another conversation for another time. Going forward, we're going to talk about Rampage first. We've got AEW Rampage. And Rampage actually kicked off early with the buy-in. The buy-in on the AEW YouTube channel. This match, the first match there, was Ty Conti versus Santana Garrett. And these two have met before. These two met before on November 6, 2019 on an episode of NXT. And, you know, a lot of people were surprised on Twitter when the first match was not Suzuki Danielson. And I go, no, they're going to put that up at the end of this because I think WWE is going to put something big. And they didn't. Because a lot of people were thinking that they were going to go at the very end of the last hour going into that last 30. Bianca, Sasha, or something with Brock and Roman. And they thought that was going to like kind of overlap going from not against the main Rampage into the main Rampage, which no, those both things just went against the main Rampage, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But Danielson, Suzuki, that's later in the buy-in. We had Ty Conti versus Santana Garrett. The crowd was very behind Conti, who ducked the clothesline early and took Garrett down to the mat. Conti missed a pump kick in the corner and got it on a second try. So I don't know if maybe she just messed up the first time or missed the move, intentionally, and then was like, oh, got you down. You can reverse and counter me once, but you can't do it twice. Because it looked a little weird, but it didn't look so weird that it was like a botched move or anything. Conti then followed this up with a series of pump kicks in the corner. Garrett stumbled out of the corner and got a DDT for the victory. Or got hit with the DDT, and Ty Conti, it's weird because her name is spelled T-A-Y, so I always want to say Tay, but it's Ty, DDT. And Ty Conti picks up the victory. Not much of a match here. The match went just sub 5 minutes. 2 women worked hard, but again, not much of a match. They just, yeah. Next up, we had who they're calling. Now it's the infamous Bobby Fish. Okay, sure, whatever. Hold on. What's the meaning of the word infamous? Infamous. The word infamous means well known for some bad. Hold on. Infamous means, according to Google, well known for some bad quality or deed. So you're known for doing something like horribly or being a bad person. Okay. An example is an infamous war criminal. So you're known for doing something in a bad way, like having a bad match or being a heel. I gotcha. Cool. Bobby Fish took on Lee Moriarty, who we already knew was signed to AEW because Tony Khan I don't remember exactly when it was, but there was a tapings, and Tony Khan came out and offered Lee Moriarty a contract. And then there was an episode of ROH that I watched recently where they said Lee Moriarty was leaving ROH to sign with AEW. So this wasn't nothing new, but they officially announced on Twitter after this match, yeah, we have signed Lee Moriarty, but not new news at all because this was something that's already happened like a month or 2 ago now. A big chance for Bobby Fish to start this match. Moriarty and Fish exchanged ankle locks early. Moriarty switched up to an arm lock, and Fish fought out with some fists and backed Moriarty into the corner with an elbow. Moriarty continued to tenaciously work over Fish's arm. Fish finally powered Moriarty into the corner and hit a sliding lariat. There were dueling "Let's go Bobby, let's go Lee" chants from the crowd, which was really cool. Fish hit a slingshot senton for a near fall, then followed it up with a snap suplex for another near fall. Fish then buried a knee right into the gut of Moriarty and transitioned that into a key lock. Moriarty battled out of the move and caught Fish with a clothesline. Then went back to attacking the arm. Moriarty hit a flying back elbow, a common giri, and a sliding dropkick on Fish for a near fall of his own. Fish then came back with a roundhouse kick and a backdrop suplex for a near fall. Fish went for the go behind, but Moriarty attacked the arm yet again. This then led to Lee Moriarty hitting a backdrop suplex on Fish. Fish hit a running knee strike and gave Moriarty an exploder suplex into the ropes before taking him out with a roundhouse kick that led to the victory. Quite a match. I love the way this match was worked, because it started off, this match was worked like a real martial arts match. You start off slow, you feel out your opponent, you kind of get some shit in early, and then once you really go, okay, this is what this guy's all about, you start putting in the work. And I loved how this match started and built and built and built, and I thought it was great. I thought this match, these two worked phenomenally together. Then we got the match that everybody was waiting for. Bryan Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki. The match, Bobby Fish, Lee Moriarty, 8 minutes. This match, 9 minutes, 15 seconds. So with 30 minutes left until the actual main show started, they were doing the entrances. So I go, okay, this match can't go 30. And then Justin Roberts goes, your final match here of the buy-in has a 30-minute time limit, and they reiterated that on commentary going, if you guys didn't hear, Justin Roberts did say this match has a 30-minute time limit, yet the match didn't even have 30 minutes to go unless they were going to, have the match actually, because you never know. They could have done a thing where the match went, like I said, 19 minutes. They could have had a thing where it went 22 or something, no. Because even at 19 minutes, there was still a good 5 minutes of just video packages. So the match could have went close to 30. And it could have done a thing where the match is going and going and going, and all of a sudden they're just live on Rampage or on TNT and YouTube at the same time. This would have been a cool thing to do, where you just break in on TNT and go, sorry for the abrupt start to this show. We didn't do the intro or anything. This match is in progress. We're towards the end of this match. This match has a time limit left of 3 minutes or something, and someone's got to pick up the victory here. Bryan Danielson with Minoru Suzuki. Who will it be? I thought that would have been a cool way to start the show. Yeah, they said they were going to kick off Rampage with CM Punk and with CM Punk and Matt Sydal. But how cool would it have been to get the last 90 seconds of this match actually on TV? That's something that we wouldn't have expected to see. That would have been something really cool that they've never done before, that I don't think any other wrestling company has done, where you do, I don't remember a wrestling company ever doing a pre-show or just a random weekly show, but hey, to each their own. But I thought it would have been really cool if you're going and there's 2 minutes left and they go, all right, guys, we have to go live on TNT. We'll stay here with this action until this match concludes, and then we will be live only on TNT. We will keep the YouTube feed going. They open up on TNT, frantically going, there's 90 seconds left in this match between Bryan Danielson and Minoru Suzuki, and we do not have a winner yet. Will this match go to a draw? Will somebody pick up the victory? And then they could have, with 10 seconds. I thought that would have been something really cool to see, but I don't know. Anyways, the match itself was really good. 19 minutes. And Suzuki, yes, got his full entrance. If you all were wondering, Bryan got his entrance with yes chants. And again, He won't do the yes chant. He told WWE he wouldn't do it. He will acknowledge the crowd when they do the yes chant. And he looks around and he's like, and he like bobs his head or whatever with the yeses. Like the crowd does the yes, yes. So he kind of like nods his head in unison sometimes. I haven't noticed him do it every time, but he's done it a couple times, and I'm pretty sure he did it tonight. But before the match even starts, crowd's already chanting, AEW, AEW, AEW. Danielson then worked an arm lock on Suzuki while the crowd chanted, "This is wrestling. This is wrestling. This is wrestling." Suzuki quickly transitioned out of the arm lock into an abdominal stretch, then transitioned into a chin lock of his own. Danielson countered and went for a knee bar. And just like I said with the last match, they started slow and ramped up and up and up and up and up like a real martial arts fight. This match did the same thing, but only better and way more physical. So Danielson countered with a knee bar, like I said, but Suzuki got the ropes to break the hold. Both men got to their feet, and Suzuki taunted the fans a bit. Danielson got an ankle pick and went for a dragon screw leg whip, but Suzuki kind of like rolled through with it. Danielson gave Suzuki a hard kick, and Suzuki was not impressed at all. Danielson unloaded with a forearm that sent Suzuki back into the ropes. Danielson then stood in the middle of the ring, popped his chest out, and said, "Give me your hardest shot." Suzuki slaps the chest of Danielson, but in doing so, I think like the tips of his fingers catches Danielson's lip. And so he grabs his mouth and he's like, oh. And so he's like feeling it, like, man, that hurt. Suzuki then taunted Danielson and unloaded. And Danielson unloaded with a roundhouse kick. Suzuki responds with another chop. Danielson came back with another front kick, and finally, Suzuki absolutely floored Danielson with the forearm, knocking him out. Like, he's just like, poof, deadpanned it. And the crowd starts chanting, "Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit." And you think Danielson's fucking dead. Like, you know he's not dead, but you think he's just out, knocked the fuck out. Danielson finally gets up and nails Suzuki with a series of kicks. He then rains down with some elbows and forearms. Suzuki got into the ropes and caught Danielson with a Juju Gatame into the ropes. He then took Danielson in the fight to the floor. They fought on the outside very briefly before the fight got back into the ring. Suzuki worked over Danielson while the crowd engaged in a "Let's go Brian Suzuki, let's go Brian Suzuki" chant. Suzuki did nasty things, as some would say, to Danielson's arm on the way to locking in a hammerlock, which, well, Danielson broke by getting to the ropes. Danielson tried to escape to the floor, but Suzuki followed. Suzuki tried to whip Danielson into the post, but Danielson countered and sent Suzuki into the post head first. Danielson followed this up with a running knee strike off the apron to the floor. Back in the ring, Danielson unloaded on Suzuki with a front kick. A couple of them, actually. Danielson grabbed Suzuki by the arm and stomped on Suzuki. Then Danielson locked on the cattle mutilation and rolled it into a pinning combination for a near fall. One of the first actual pin attempts of the entire freaking match. Danielson backed Suzuki into the corner and hit chops and kicks in that corner, then followed it up with a running drop kick into the corner. Suzuki countered with a kick in the corner of his own, though, and then just hit just a hard-ass kick. Just a hard place kick, as they would call it. But Danielson no-sold it and popped right back up and did his whole thing that he always does. Like the arms flailing. Suzuki then went for a second big kick, and Danielson got right up again. The third one, though, was enough to keep the American Dragon down. Suzuki went for the pin and got it too. Suzuki then allowed Danielson to recover. And Danielson won another battle of the strikes. Suzuki countered and locked in a Fujiwara armbar, but Danielson got to the ropes. Suzuki allowed the ref to distract him, and this allowed Danielson to go for the lapel lock. Then turned it into a pinning combination, but Suzuki got his feet on the ropes. Justin Roberts then made the call. 15 minutes has elapsed. So we're like, okay, halfway through this match. Well, halfway through the allotted time they've got, which technically wasn't even 30 minutes because when the match started, they had a timer up there saying X amount of time till Rampage. And when the match actually started, there was less than 28 minutes. Both men get to their feet and the crowd's chanting, "Fight forever. Fight forever." And I'm like, yes, please. Don't stop now. Suzuki and Danielson went back to exchanging forearms. Suzuki put his hand behind his back and gave Danielson one free shot. Danielson was more than happy to oblige. After Danielson jarred Suzuki with a particularly nasty-looking forearm, Suzuki responded in favor, and both guys went back to exchanging forearms, and there was a double slap knockdown as well. Taz then said, and I quote, "If you aren't watching this on YouTube, you're dumber than a box of rocks." But the weird thing about that is you wouldn't hear him say that line if you weren't watching this on YouTube, because there's no other way to watch this. I doubt it's going to air later on regular TV. Anyways, each their own, Taz. Suzuki and Danielson kept exchanging and exchanging and exchanging and exchanging while the crowd was chanting for both guys. They did the whole C for Danielson and no for Suzuki. Suzuki locked on a sleeper, but Danielson escaped it. Suzuki went for the pile driver, but Danielson backdropped Suzuki, ran the ropes, and caught Suzuki with a flying knee. Danielson went for the pin, got the pin, and picked up the victory. So yes, Bryan Danielson wins this epic battle against, well, one of the baddest men in the world, Minoru Suzuki. Match was great. Excalibur said, "I hope we see this match again someday." Taz agreed. Ricky Starks agreed. And I agreed. I would love to see this again. So, about 5 minutes left. We got video packages and everything trying to hype up Matt Sydal versus CM Punk. And that was the opening contest of Dynamite. That went, or not Dynamite, Rampage. That went commercial free. First match went commercial free. And of course, everybody was behind CM Punk here in this building. It started with a handshake and showed off the respect. They then locked up. Punk is, if you didn't know, 4-0 against Matt Sydal. Their last match being in 2010. They had some good ones in WWE. So the commentators pointed out that Sydal's plan was to try and blow up Punk, thinking maybe his cardio is not what it used to be. Which we've seen Punk get a little tired here and there. Sydal got Punk in a bow and arrow, but Punk escaped and slammed Sydal. Punk tried to slam Sydal again, but Sydal slid out and hip tossed Punk and caught him with a kick. Sydal then got Punk in a chin lock, and then turned that into almost like a stump puller, and then he rolled it into like a pinning combination for a near fall. Sydal followed this up with a series of kicks to Punk's leg. He then also worked on Punk's knee. Sydal went for the lightning spiral early, but Punk slid out and hit a drop kick for a near fall. At one point, Punk went to the apron, and Sydal went right after him, but Punk caught Sydal and slammed him on the apron. Looked like it hurt. Back in the ring, Punk hit a slingshot senton and got a near fall. Punk then hung Sydal in a tree of woe and went for a sliding drop kick, but Sydal pulled himself up, did the little sit-up deal, and he, countered the move. Punk and Sydal then battled on the top rope, and both guys knocked each other to the floor. Both guys got back into the ring before the 10 count and exchanged some strikes. Sydal at one point locked on an ankle lock and then transitioned that into a straitjacket. Punk countered that straitjacket into the Anaconda Vice, but Sydal got to the ropes to break the hold. Punk went for the Pepsi twist, which, Sydal escaped. Sydal blasted Punk with a roundhouse kick and hit a lightning spiral, which commentary had been putting over all night, saying if he could just hit that, it would be over, but it wasn't. He only got a 2 off of it. Sydal then went to the top again. But Punk got to his feet. Excuse me. That monster's giving me some burps. Punk got to his feet and blocked Sydal by grabbing him and hitting him with a GTS, and yes, picking up the victory. Punk looked, I'm going to say right now, this may have been Punk's best match in AEW. Better than the Darby match, of course, better than the Hobbs match. But this may have been Punk's best match yet. And let me go back really fast. Punk has faced Darby, Hobbs, who else? Darby, Hobbs, and Garcia. And I think this may have been the best one, at least to me. I thought this was the best one. Maybe the Garcia match from last week was a little better, but that's debatable. I think the Garcia and the Sydal matches were better than the Darby match. Of course, they're better than the Powerhouse Hobbs match because it's Powerhouse Hobbs. But, you know, I think this may have been Punk's best match yet up against Matt Sydal. Punk looked, and it could have been that Punk's finally getting back into the grooves of things, this being his fourth match. Because he looked like, you know, his cardio was a little better. He went like, he just looked better. So maybe it wasn't the fact that this was his best match yet, which maybe, but it's just maybe he's finally getting into the groove of things. And, you know, his stuff's just looking better because he's getting back into it. So going forward, John Silver challenged the Super Click on behalf of the Dark Order. Said those sons of a gun. And, that's the Gun Club. So I don't know what was going on there. Something about the Super Click, and then there was like a reference to the Gun Club. So I didn't know what happened there. Going forward, we had a okay match. It was Ruby Soho versus the Bunny. Bunny drop kicked Soho early on while her neck was wedged against the turnbuckle. The live crowd really didn't get much into this match, and the Bunny yanked Soho off the ropes, and Soho smacked her neck against the turnbuckle. Neither of those bumps looked like they were fun to take. Also, later on in the match, there was a spot where the Bunny yanked Ruby off the top rope again with a German suplex that again looked a little stiff and woof. Wow. So, go to commercial, come back, and the women are fighting. And like I said, there was that spot with the German suplex off the middle rope. Bunny then went for her finish, but Soho countered into a backslide and picked up the victory. Again, not much of a 9.5-minute match, to be completely honest. So after the match, Ruby's up on the ramp, and she's celebrating. She's attacked from behind by Penelope Ford. Ford throws Soho into the ring. And this is when, I think it's Ricky Stark says, you know what? It always pays off to have friends here in AEW. Well, Ruby has no friends because she got double teamed and punched with brass knucks, but no one came to help her. I said, hey, where's somebody? Chris Statlander, somebody. Come help with Ruby, and yeah, nobody. They laid out brass knucks and just left their laying. We got a rundown of things to come tomorrow and next week. He stated that Kiera Hogan will be taking on Penelope Ford tomorrow night. John Moxley will be taking on Wheeler Yuta, and everything else we already know. Tag titles on the line tomorrow. What's the other? Bobby Fish, Danielson, and Dante Martin, Malachi Black. Then they announced for next week, Pac versus Andrade 2. Even though fucking Ricky Stark said, it's Pac versus Andre Alidolo. No, it's Andrade, not Andre. It's like, who was it recently? There was a wrestler that his name, I can't remember who it was. Maybe Andrade, that I was listening to something and they were calling him Andrew. I don't remember exactly what it was. But they stated that next week will be Pac versus Andrade 2. The World Title Eliminator Tournament starts Tomorrow we'll get the brackets. Next week on Dynamite or on Rampage, the tournament will start. And next week they will give us the brackets for the TBS tournament, but didn't state when the TBS tournament starts. I saw some people going, wow, this is going to be a 2-month-long tournament? Not particularly. They can say, hey, here's the brackets. It starts December. They could say, honestly, they could say, here's the brackets. And the tournament starts November 17th after the Full Gear pay-per-view or something. TJ, I don't listen to Jim Cornette, so it wouldn't have been that. But with that, we got the face-to-face. It was America Top Team on one side. It was the Inner Circle on the other side. And we got Mark Henry's thing. Well, gentlemen, that's enough talking. Time to take it to the ring for our main event. Because he says it the same way every time. You would fucking think it was pre-recorded because he says it the exact same way every time. For our main event. And we had 11.5-minute match, or just shy of 11.5 minutes. The Inner Circle against against the Men of the Year and Junior Dos Santos with Dan Lambert and Jorge Masvidal ringside with Paige Van Zant, her husband Austin Vanderford, and I can't remember the other guy's name, sitting in the front row. Also, they're really pushing this Paige Van Zant being a part of this. So, my question to you, what woman joins the Inner Circle, or at least helps them out? If Ruby wasn't, tied up with the whole Penelope Ford Bunny stuff, I would say Ruby would fit great with the Inner Circle. But I think she's tied up with something else right now. Anyways. Jericho and the Inner Circle come out. Crowd sings Judas. Then Lambert comes out and they play some music. I don't even know what music it was. And he tells them to stop it. And then he tells the crowd, sing our song. This is our hometown. America Top Team's here in Miami. And he's going off on his little tangent or whatever. And the match starts out. And I thought this was the perfect way to start it. These two guys, Scorpio Sky and Guevara. I go, Sammy Guevara, Scorpio Sky starting on this match. Perfect. This guy brutalized Guevara with an elbow to start it off, but Guevara came right back with a spring kick off the ropes and a drop kick and a backdrop to avoid a clothesline. Sammy then did I don't even know how you do this. He did a kip up, but when he got like halfway on that kip up, he literally like stopped time almost, and so kip up, you're laying on your back, and you like pull your legs up and you flip like this. But Sammy, instead of just doing the whole kip up, he literally went up and then in slow motion went shh. Like I can't even. But Sammy did this probably the coolest kip up I've ever seen, because halfway through the kip up he like went in slow-mo and then like did the whole with his body to straighten himself. It was dope as shit. Jericho gets tagged in, and this is also when we see Junior Dos Santos for the first time, who looked huge next to Chris Jericho, like big guy. Dos Santos brutalized Jericho with fists, and you can't knock him. I mean, if you want to compare him to Cain Velasquez in his first wrestling match, yeah, you can knock him, but you can't knock him too hard for his punches looking soft. I saw people on Twitter going, oh, get this guy out of the fucking ring. You can tell he's barely hitting Jericho. Well, this is a guy that's used to punching people with all of his might. Now he's got to pull the punches. So, but again, you've got Junior Dos Santos here working his first match where he looked okay, didn't look great or anything. And then people now, you got another, if you think about it, then you got, other MMA fighters, heavyweight champions in the UFC that have done pro wrestling and only had a handful of matches and looked better. I mean, Cain Velasquez looked great in that first match he had with AAA. But regardless, Junior Santos didn't look bad. But again, like I said, his punches, you can tell that he wasn't throwing them hard. He didn't want to hurt anybody or anything. Then Hager gets the tag. And things get a little better here. He and Dos Santos exchange some shots. Hager gets pulled into the corner. Hager reverses and takes down Dos Santos with a double leg sweep. Double leg sweep and like a variation, toss deal. Excuse me. Dos Santos then comes back with a this looked good, hard knee strike. And then tags out to Scorpio Sky. Jericho got the tag as well and dropped to the floor to confront Lambert and Masvidal. The other members of the Men of the Year attacked on the floor, and the show went to a picture-picture break with Jericho in trouble. After the break, Dos Santos power slammed Jericho for a near fall. A pretty good power slam too, to be honest. Again, he did like the pro wrestling stuff good, but when he's trying to do like, the fighting stuff, he's pulling them. His punches looked all right, but they could have looked better. They look soft. I'm going to say it. I already said. What do you expect? I don't know how long he's actually been training for. Ethan Page at one point missed a kick, and Jericho caught him with an enziguri. He then got the tag to Sammy. Sammy Guevara hit a springboard cutter on Sky and a Spanish fly on Ethan Page. Jericho came back and hit a springboard dropkick on Page and a double axe handle on Sky, and then a lion salt for a near fall. Everything then broke down with Hager and Dos Santos fighting on the floor. Hager put Dos Santos through a table with a Uranagi. Those two out. Back in the ring, Jericho went for the code breaker, but Sky countered into a TKO attempt. Jericho countered and got the walls of Jericho. Paige Van Zant then left the crowd, jumped the barricade, and up on the apron to cause the distraction of the ref. This will then allow Masvidal to run in and hit that running knee on Jericho, and Scorpio Sky then picked up the pinfall victory, which I liked it being Scorpio Sky picking up the pin. If it wasn't going to be Junior, it should have been Scorpio, because Scorpio, if you don't remember, was the first person to ever pin Jericho in AEW. So I liked that, but, they're really pushing Paige Van Zant here. Jericho put her over in an interview recently, and I think he's put her over on his podcast, stating that she's integral to the storyline and that she's great in her presence in pro wrestling is great. And now the question is, which female gets added to the inner circle to combat Paige Van Zant? I honestly thought Ruby Soho would be perfect. She would fit in with the inner circle perfectly. The band of misfits. But I think she's tied up in another storyline right now. And you've got, Thunder Rosa's tied up with Jade Cargill. So that's not going to work. Because you got to think, you need something going into the pay-per-view. Thunder Rosa and Jade Cargill are tied up. Britt Baker ain't going to be helping the inner circle. Yeah, it's like, who could it be? Who could it be? I mean, if I'm going to throw a name out there, you want another fighter. Why did her name just slip my mind? What the hell? My mind just went blank really fast. Hold on. You want another fighter. Layla Hirsch. That's who I'm thinking of. Layla Hirsch, maybe? Diamante? Well, no. Nah. I was thinking Diamante, but I don't know if she would fit. And she hasn't really been pushed as like a full-timer. You would want somebody that's kind of like a full-timer in AEW. But I think, Layla Hirsch, another fighter, pure wrestler, up against Paige Van Zant would actually be pretty good. Would actually really be pretty good. After the match, Paige Van Zant took selfies with all members of America Top Team and the Men of the Year. And they continued to beat down Jericho. Santana and Ortiz ran out to chase off Lambert and his goons. And the crowd chanted for the inner circle as the show went off the air. But again, I really think the inner circle needs a female. Jericho's going to be gone for a couple weeks. Maybe you wrap up whatever Ruby's doing with Penelope and Bunny and throw her in here somehow. I don't know. But I think Ruby would be the best bet. But if you want somebody that could combat Paige Van Zant in her fighting style, I guess you could say, as a fighter, the next best bet that I think, like, I don't think she fits the inner circle, but she fits going against Paige Van Zant would be Layla Hirsch. I just don't think she fits in with the inner circle. Give me 1 second to fix my camera, guys. There we go. Nope, I just made it even worse. There we go. But that was AEW Rampage. No, I messed it all up. God dang it. But with that was AEW Rampage. I thought it was a pretty good show for the 2 hours that we got, both of the Rampage buy-in and the Rampage main card. And we'll see what comes of all of this as far as the ratings do go with it and Friday Night SmackDown. And speaking of Friday Night SmackDown, we got that show to talk about as well. But first, check the polls and see what you guys thought of tonight's Rampage. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 80% of you liked tonight's show, with 20% thinking it was just all right. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 60% of you liked tonight's Rampage, 21% thought it was all right, and 19% did not like it. Let's throw up our SmackDown poll really fast. What do you think of tonight's SmackDown? Liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. Live on Twitch. So the same poll on YouTube. Nope. Liked it. Right. I didn't like it. So the poll up on YouTube, and let's talk Friday Night SmackDown. And I don't have my SmackDown notes here. Where are they? There we go. For some reason, I opened the Dynamite notes twice. So SmackDown. Or as Pat McAfee likes to say, Smackdown. Smackdown. Opened up with Pat McAfee and Michael Cole letting us know that tonight's show will be headlined by a contract signing between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. And if you were watching FS1 about 8 to 10 minutes prior to SmackDown starting, watch some of that NHRA, you would have seen a cut-in during the last commercial break of the NHRA stuff, where Michael Cole did come on and say, tonight, we are in Ontario, California, and the show, the supersized SmackDown, will be headlined by a contract signing between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. So, yeah. But as far as the show opening up, it opened up with Edge. And Edge cut a hell of a promo. I love these. Let's sit down in the middle of the ring, just grab a chair and sit down, look straight into the camera, and just speak the truth straight from the heart. I love these by Edge. And I think that this is perfect for him, because he invokes so much emotion. And it all just comes off so smooth and genuine. Doesn't sound like he's reading a script. And I don't know how scripted Edge actually might even be in WWE, but regardless. Edge made his entrance with a huge pop, and then we got a kind of lengthy video recapping the whole Edge-Seth Rollins stuff. And they showed Rollins watching the interview in the back several times during this, but Edge grabbed a chair, sat down, and started speaking the truth. Fans erupted in cheers when his music ended. He noted their feud started actually 7 years ago when Rollins tried to use him as a stepping stone. Edge pointed out that Rollins knew he wasn't medically cleared, but kept calling him out. Now, this is one thing I don't like with this Edge-Seth Rollins stuff. They're making it sound like that through those 7 years, when they had the incident on Raw 7 years ago to now, they keep making it sound like Seth has been calling out Edge to fight him all 7 years, which is not true. So Edge recapped Rollins breaking into his home, and he said, "You broke into my home. Home, not a house. A house is just a place where you sleep with four walls. A home is where your family is and where you break your bread," or something like that. Edge became emotionally angry when talking about this and his family. Edge admitted that Rollins took this page right out of his book, though. He said, yeah, I've invaded people's homes before. Remember when I slapped John Cena's dad across the face? Fans cheered. Edge admitted that Rollins isn't Edge Light. He's Seth frickin' Rollins. The fans erupted loud in a Seth, you suck! Seth, you suck! Seth, you suck chant. Edge then said he has to finish this because it's affecting his family now. Edge noted that he could go to Rollins' home and have a little encounter with Bex. He's like, we've got history. What if I did that? And the fans booed. Edge promised not to hesitate this time and actually finish off Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. He promised that he will scar the soul of Seth Rollins and noted that that's a scar that you never heal from. Oh, this was great. Edge's delivery was spot on, perfect. Couldn't have been any better. So Colin McAfee recapped Sami Zayn defeating Rey Mysterio to make it to the second round of the King of the Ring, and Finn Balor defeating Cesaro to make it here as well. And then we had an 11.5-minute match that was fantastic. I enjoyed the shit out of this match. It was Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn, and these are the type of matches that you would expect from the King of the Ring tournament. These two just had a fast-paced, hard-hitting action. Great match. Like I don't know. So earlier today, Balor noted that winning the tournament is a great achievement, but going to accomplish an even greater feat in shutting up Sami Zayn. So Balor had the early advantage, but Zayn fought back with an elbow. The fans broke into a Sami sucks chant, and Sami caught Balor with a sunset flip, but Balor rolled through it and hit a drop kick. Balor followed this up with an arm drag, but Zayn broke free with a clothesline. The fans then broke into a Let's Go Balor chant. Zayn slowed down the pace with a chin lock, and Balor broke free and sent Zayn to the floor and followed this up with a huge flip dive. Back from the break, Zayn was firmly in control, but Balor fought back. He traded some shots and whatnot here and there in the middle of the ring, which ended with Balor hitting a Pele kick. Zayn ended up on the apron, and Balor sent him into the ring post. Zayn, at one point, hung Balor on the top rope and climbed up the corner. Balor recovered and attempted a superplex, but Zayn knocked him off. Zayn went for a crossbody, but Balor hit a drop kick in midair, caused a near fall. Zayn fought back and hit a blue thunder bomb for a near fall of his own. Zayn then hit an exploder suplex in the corner. He went for a haluva kick, and Balor avoided it. Balor caught Zayn with a kick, but Zayn recovered. He rolled up Balor with his feet on the ropes, but the referee caught that and said, that ain't going to happen here. And they praised Jessica Carr, the referee in this match, for catching it. They're like, most referees don't pay enough close attention in other sports and will miss things like this. But not here. Jessica Carr with a great call to stop the count. Balor recovers and hits a shotgun dropkick right in the corner. Zayn avoided a coup de grace and rolled up Balor for a near fall. Balor fought back with a sling blade, and then the finish of the match came when Balor hit 2 drop kicks, shotgun style, and a coup de grace to pick up the victory. Balor now advances to next Thursday's Crown Jewel pay-per-view, or Crown Jewel event, where he will take on the winner of Xavier Woods versus Jinder Mahal in the finals. Cole and McAfee discussed the whole Brock Lesnar-Roman Reigns contract signing thing later, where McAfee called Reigns the best in the world. Which I liked it because it's basically playing off of all the stuff that Reigns said about CM Punk and him losing a step in his Complex Sports interview. So I liked that. I like Pat throwing that stuff in there. They promoted next week. Drew McIntyre makes his big return to SmackDown. They said, will the winner of the 2020 Royal Rumble bring the WWE Championship with him? And Pat goes, I hope he brings that WWE Championship and that big-ass sword with him, and that big-ass sword that he calls Angela as well. I'm like, there you go. There's Pat McAfee. Yep, that big-ass sword. So going forward, we were supposed to get just straight up Sonya Deville and Naomi. So Naomi makes her entrance. We go through a commercial. We come back. And Sonya goes, Naomi, Naomi, Naomi. When we're talking in my office, you can't leave prematurely. I wasn't done talking. Our match tonight is not just a straight up match, you and me. No, this will be a handicap match. It will be you against myself and Shayna Baszler. Match went just 2 minutes. And I go, oh boy, this could be Shayna's new gimmick, assassin for hire. People just go, hey, I need you to take out this bitch for me. Knock her cold. Do the whole elbow smash on the steps for me. Or shit, she could just be Sonya Deville's hitman. I would love that too. But regardless, they didn't get a lot of time here. This felt really rushed. And the two beat the crap out of Naomi. Naomi tried to fight back at one point, and it was to no avail. Not really much to talk about. One point, she got caught in the Karafuda clutch, choked out, thrown to the mat, and Sonya pinned her with 1 foot on top of her. Stood above her, put the 1 foot on her. 1, 2, 3, there we go. They promoted big time Hit Row coming to SmackDown, where Michael Cole yet again called them the steal of the draft. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee then ran down the card for Crown Jewel, which actually seems like a pretty goddamn good card. And Michael Cole let us know about 10 times tonight. Crown Jewel next Thursday will have a special start time of noon Eastern. Remember, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. I don't know if there's going to be a pre-show or not. They didn't state. There has been in the past, but we'll see. Rollins came out and responded to Edge. They called this Seth Rollins Unleashing Hell or something like that. Fans broke out with another Seth You Suck chant. Rollins mocked Edge, convincing the fans that he can beat him at Crown Jewel. He said, but Edge did one thing right. Hell is frozen over, and he agrees that I am not Edge Light. Rollins screamed that he's not afraid to face Edge inside Hell in a Cell. The fans then broke into a Harley Quinn chant because of the I guess, suit that Rollins was wearing. It was like one side had some sort of a pattern on it. The other side had a diamond, like I don't know. Weird kind of setup. I forgot. I couldn't tell what the one side pattern was. The other side was like diamonds, or it was like red diamond, white diamond, red diamond, white diamond. And when Seth had made his way to the ring, Michael Cole literally just goes, what the heck is Seth Rollins wearing? And Pat's just like, he's the Drip King, Cole. What do you expect? Or the Drip God, something like that. Well, after the Harley Quinn chant, they start chanting, we want Edge. Rollins noted that he had more time inside Hell in a Cell than Edge has. I don't know if that's true. I didn't look it up. And Rollins claimed that he's the man. He said he's the man today when it comes to Hell in a Cell. Sure, because your last Hell in a Cell match, you just need people to forget. Rollins would also go on to close this out by noting that he's the visionary, the revolutionary, and Seth freaking Rollins. So they recapped Carmella defeating Liv Morgan to make it into the second round of the Queen's Crown, and Zelina Vega defeating Toni Storm. Then, an interesting move in the back. It was Carmella and Zelina Vega, and they're about to go out for their match. And Zelina goes, hold on, Carmella. I know what you're going to go out there. You're going to do. You're going to put your little face mask on, but don't fret. I'm not going to ruin your face. I'm not even going to hit you in the face. I promise. You don't need to wear the mask. And so Carmella's like, you promise? She's like, I promise. I won't hit you in the face. You'll be fine. And Carmella's like, well, okay then. She goes out, does her entrance, and then she goes, girls, you're not needed. Thank you, but I don't need the mask tonight. Vega comes out, she does her entrance, and the match starts. I think at 2 minutes and 41 seconds. And so Vega had the early advantage and took Carmella down to the mat, which pressed Carmella. Carmella took over and slowed the pace down with an arm bar. Vega then used the ropes to break free, and Carmella here with an arm drag. Carmella then kicked Vega straight in the face, right in the nose. And she goes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. Please don't hit me in the face. And Vega was furious. Carmella then was trying to apologize. Vega didn't care and took down Carmella with a Thez press. Carmella freaked out and jumped out of the ring to get her mask. But in doing so, she realized that, Liv Morgan actually has my mask. Uh-oh. The distraction here was enough to help Zelina Vega win the match. The finish came when Morgan went after Carmella, so Carmella jumped back into the ring. Vega took the advantage. Small package, 1, 2, 3. Zelina Vega moves on to the finals of the Queen's Crown tournament in Saudi Arabia. She will be taking on the winner of either Doudrop or Shayna Baszler. I expect it's Shayna, and Shayna wins the whole thing. So next up, we had Happy Talk, the worst thing on the show. Yes, worse than Carmella versus Zelina Vega. Happy Talk is just bad. I don't like the Corbin Madcap Moss stuff. He's not funny at all. And this was weird. So they're doing their shtick. They're telling jokes and this and that. Moss says some stupid joke. Kevin Owens, he mocked Kevin Owens and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, Rick Boogs cuts off Moss. He says, I don't want to hear another bad joke. And he introduces Nakamura. And Nakamura comes out, big pop from the crowd. Boogs is playing a song. Pat McAfee jumps on the announce table to dance with them. Michael Cole tells him, hey, don't fall off. Don't get hurt. And they circle the ring. They get back around to the ramp. They walk up the ramp backwards. Nakamura's jiving like Nakamura does. And then they just leave when the Street Profits music hits. And Boogs is good enough at guitar to where he goes straight in from straight into the Street Profits theme. I'm like, all right, this guy's legit on guitar. We knew that he can like play Nakamura's theme, which probably like, because a lot of times guys can play guitar, or if they practice enough, they can learn the one song they need to play. But if he's good enough to like transition, like he was in the middle of the Nakamura song and just goes, oh, Street Profits. And I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's good. This guy's really good. Way better than Elias ever was on guitar, which where the fuck that guy been? Killed himself, said Elias is dead, and we haven't seen him since. Anyways, Street Profits come out for title match against the Usos. This was a street fight, which we didn't know ahead of time. This match went up against Suzuki and Danielson, and you could tell they knew it because they were working their asses off. Before this match, though, Sasha Banks discussed her upcoming match with Becky, where she promised to beat Lynch tonight and then win the title crown jewel. Anyways, this match, 11 minutes, and I loved it. I thought it was great. All four guys started off brawling when the bell rang, and Angelo Dawkins caught Jay with a twisting neck breaker. Ford backed Jimmy into the corner, but Jay made the save. Usos jumped out of the ring and tossed Dawkins into the barricade. Suddenly, Ford leapt over the turnbuckle with a huge dive onto the Usos. Street Profits did the Dudley Boys spot when Dawkins yelled at Ford, "Get the tables!" The fans popped big for that, chanting, "We want tables! We want tables!" And they pulled out some tables with the Usos, hit them with a double suicide dive to stop them. After a commercial break, the Usos were firmly in control. Jay pulled out a kendo stick to a huge pop from the crowd. Again, we didn't know going into this it was a street fight, because online on social media and WWE.com they just said tag titles will be on the line tonight when, and maybe I missed this, but all I read was tag titles will be on the line tonight when the Street Profits challenge the Usos in their last opportunity to challenge the Usos before they moved to Raw. So I didn't see the street fight thing. Maybe I overlooked it. But they pulled out kendo sticks. The crowd chanted for that. I just lost my spot here. Oh, Jay pulled out a kendo stick to a huge pop. Usos beat down Dawkins with the kendo stick, and the fans chanted, "One more time. One more time." Usos snapped and viciously beat down Dawkins. Ford then hit a flying crossbody on both Usos to regain control. Ford ran wild and sent Jay out of the ring. He then drop kicked a chair into Jimmy's face. Yes, he did a Van Daminator. And a good-looking one at that. He got a near fall off of it, and Jay jumped back in and hit a pop-up Samoan drop for a near fall. The Street Profits took over and beat down Jay with the kendo sticks. The babyfaces went for the Doomsday Device, but Jimmy made the save, pulling Jay off of his shoulders. They then rocked Montez with a double drop kick. Usos then hit a double super kick on Dawkins for a near fall. They went for the double splash, but Ford pulled Jay off the corner. Dawkins hit a spinebuster on Jimmy, and Ford hit his big old frog splash, but Jay broke up the pin. Jay then slammed Ford through a table at ringside. Dawkins briefly ran wild, but the Usos recovered and hit a double super kick. They followed this up with the two splashes and picked up the victory. The Usos retain in a very fun street fight here that, yes, went up against the Suzuki Danielson match. And again, you could tell they knew it because they were working stiff and hard, and they worked their asses off. So with about 2 or 3 minutes left in the final, and like going in, the final hour-ish mark or whatever, the second hour, Becky makes her way out to the ring, and they say, we are now going to take our final commercial break of the night. Come back, Sasha Banks makes her way out. Also, they let us know earlier in the show, forgot to mention this, on Monday Night Raw, Bianca Belair will be challenging Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship. Sasha's out there. Becky's out there. Before the match starts, Bianca comes out. Bianca makes her way out and joins commentary. And these two had a hell of a match. These two worked their booties off to have just a fantastic match. I loved it. 1 second to ban this jabroni. If I can. It's not going to let me. We don't need all them damn emojis, guy. Anyways. Banks and Lynch traded headlocks early on, and the fans broke into a "Let's go Becky, let's go Sasha, let's go Becky, let's go Sasha" dueling chant. Traded pin attempts early too, but it all ended in a stalemate. They went back and forth. Disarmer Bank statement, disarmer Bank statement. Banks then took over with double knees in the corner. The fans briefly was chanting for Becky over Sasha. Lynch fought back and caught Banks with the leg drop to gain control. Banks fought back again, or Banks fought back. So Becky fought back, then Banks fights back. A lot of back and forth here, but it was good. Good back and forth. Banks went for the double knees, but Lynch moved out of the way, and Banks crashed into the ring post. Lynch scored a near fall and threw Banks out of the ring. Lynch tried to win by countout, but Banks barely beat the count back in. Sasha tried to fight back, but Becky went for the leg and hit a bulldog for a 2. Lynch slowed down the pace with the chin lock, and Banks broke free and hit the 3 amigo suplexes for a near fall. Fans broke into a brief Eddie chant. Banks ended up on the apron, and Lynch threw her into the ring post. Lynch then caught Banks' arm in the turnbuckle. Banks was then draped across the middle ropes, and Lynch hit a leg drop off the second turnbuckle. Banks then fought back and pulled Lynch into the ring post. She followed this up with double knees on the apron, and then a second set of double knees back in the ring. Banks then hit the Meteor off the top rope for a close near fall. Lynch then jumped off the second turnbuckle, but Banks avoided and hit a backstabber. Lynch rolled to the floor, but Banks went right after her. Sasha attempted a powerbomb off the apron, and Lynch countered into a hard, stiff-looking leg drop. To where like here's the apron. Sasha's right here, kind of like bent over it. Becky crashes her. God, this looked like it hurt. Because Sasha's back was like, when she did it. It looked like it hurt. Lynch attempted the leg drop again. Banks moved. He fought in front of the announce table for a moment before Lynch pushed Banks, and she almost collided with Belair. Banks moved, and Lynch rocked Belair with a forearm trying to go for Sasha. Banks then hit a knee off the announce table, and Lynch hit the barricade. Banks with the frog splash again back in the ring, but Becky got her knees up. Lynch and Banks traded near falls in the middle of the ring until Banks locked on the Banks statement. Lynch made it to the ropes to break the hold, and as she did, she was whipped by the hair of Bianca Belair. With her arm hurting from that whip, that was just enough for Sasha to hit the backstabber, roll it and hit the backstabber, and pick up the victory on Sasha. Sasha pick up the victory on Becky Lynch. Now my back's, I don't know what I did. My back all of a sudden got all stiff. Anyways. These two had just a fantastic match. So Sasha's celebrating in the ring. Becky's on the apron looking over at Bianca like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, Esther. And all of a sudden, out comes Adam Pearce. Remember, no commercials. So Adam Pearce is yelling at these stage hands. Hurry up. Get everything going. Let's go. In the ring. We got a contract signing to get going. Come on. And he's like booting people out and bringing people in and this and that. And he's directing traffic. And out comes Roman Reigns. Reigns makes his way out to the ring. Gets a great reaction from the crowd here in Southern California. Then out comes Brock Lesnar. He gets an equally great reaction as well. Two are in the ring. We get a Suplex City chant as Brock Lesnar sits down at the table, throws his feet up with his cowboy boots on and everything. And Reigns looks at the contract, hands it to Heyman. Heyman looks it over, gives it back to Roman and says, I advise you, my counsel is to advise you to sign. Roman Reigns signs the contract, says everything that you asked for is here, my tribal chief. He hands the contract over to Adam Pearce. Paul Heyman, for some reason, throws the pen out of the ring and he hands the contract over to Brock. Brock looks right up. Remember, Brock's just sitting at the table. Brock looks right up at Roman. Big old letters, signs Brock Lesnar. Pat McAfee goes, the contract's signed. I don't even think Brock Lesnar signed on any line. He just signed right on that damn contract. And Roman grabs the mic and goes, you gotta be some kind of a dumbass. You're some dumb farmer, aren't you? You didn't even read that contract. And Brock grabs the mic, laughs, and goes, I already looked over the contract this morning with my advocate, Paul Heyman. And Roman gets that look on his face. Paul clinches the Universal title in fear. Brock stands up, gets out of the ring, doesn't take his eyes off of Roman as he backs up the ramp, and just laughs the whole time. Roman's in the ring just standing there. I think at one point I saw him mouth like, is that true? Is this true? What's going on? Or something like that. Heyman like backs up towards the corner in the ropes and he's clinching the Universal title or whatever. And then Joe goes off the air. Pat McAfee and Michael Cole going, well, what side does Paul Heyman line on? Is he with Brock Lesnar? Is he with Roman Reigns? What the hell? And that's how the show goes off the air. Last half hour was commercial free, but I thought it was good. I like the whole, is Brock just trying to screw with Roman, or is Paul Heyman really playing both sides? Or is Paul Heyman really with Brock? We don't know. Because there's ways to look at this. There's A, Paul is really just with Roman, and Brock is trying to screw with Roman. B, Paul is actually with Brock and, well, going to screw Roman. Or there's C, Paul's playing both sides and is going to just jump with whoever wins the crown jewel. If Brock wins, he's going to be like, I've been with you my whole time, Brock. I've been with you the whole time, Brock. Or if Roman wins, you're my tribal chief. Why would you think I'd ever betray you, my tribal chief? So it's like, there's three options here. What is Paul Heyman really doing right now? That is the thing. Is he the advocate to the former reigning, defending world heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar? Or is he the counsel, the head of the table, the tribal chief, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns? Question we got to ask. And it's a very intriguing one. And I think it's the best storyline in pro wrestling right now. And for everybody that says, oh, Paul Heyman, he's got to go back with Brock. Brock's nothing without Paul Heyman. Brock's got no charisma. Brock's got no character. Brock can't talk on the mic. Fuck all of you. That's what I'm going to say. I think Brock is great with or without Paul Heyman. He can speak. He's got great charisma and personality. So, I don't know. We'll see how it all does go next week in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel. Special start time, noon Eastern. Remember, my Cole told us like 10 times. But with that, guys, that was Friday Night SmackDown. Now we got to check the polls and see exactly what you guys thought. Whoa. Which poll? Split right down the three-way. 33% of you thought he liked, 33% of you liked it, 33% of you didn't like it, and 33% of you thought it was just all right. Or as the YouTube poll does go, 75% of you liked tonight's SmackDown. 17% thought it was just all right, and 8% did not like SmackDown. But with that, guys, we've got... see what else you thought of tonight's show. Pull up the text messages. Remember, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that is 510-906-1341. Excuse me, 1341. First text message here. First says, who do you think wins the King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown tournament? King of the Ring's probably going to go to Finn. Queen's Crown will probably go to Shayna Baszler. Versus says, I really wish Peacock uploaded Raw, NXT, and SmackDown faster because I don't have FS1 to watch SmackDown. NXT, I think they upload the next day or the week. I can't remember exactly what I can tell you right now, actually. Peacock. I know Raw and SmackDown, 30-day delay on streaming. But as far as NXT, I want to say it's next day. I'll look that up right now. Yeah. So this week's NXT is already up on Peacock. I think it's next day. 24-hour deal. But Raw and SmackDown, 30 days. Month. Let me double check that just to make sure I'm correct and not giving you guys the wrong information. I actually haven't checked since they moved everything to Peacock. The last Raw. Where's the newest Raw? Hold up. What? This is weird. Oh, here we go. Yeah, they're a month behind. The newest Raw is September 13th. So it's a month. Mr. says, what kind of personal agenda does Sonya Deville have against Naomi? That was straight fucked up bullshit she did tonight. I don't know. This is the worst storyline they've done in a long time. This is a very bad storyline. I don't like it at all. Like, why does she hate Naomi? Because Naomi kept interrupting her when she was on the phone, saying, hey, can I have a match? I don't fucking know. This person says, I have a question. Do you think Undisputed Era versus Elite in AEW? I mean, I've been saying if they can get Kyle O'Reilly at some point, do it. Give me Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly against Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. I say give it to me. I don't know the contract status of Kyle O'Reilly, though. I don't know how much longer he's got in WWE. They got 2/3. 2/3. This person says, were you able to watch the first episode of Chucky? Yes, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Person says, okay, this is maybe out of Kai Conti, because she is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Are you talking about? No, that wouldn't work. Her with Inner Circle against American Top Team. I don't see that working because she's technically, but not technically, part of Dark Order. So I don't see that working. Plus, she just wouldn't fit it with the Inner Circle guys at all. Person says, what do you think Paul will do at Crown Jewel? I don't know. We just talked about that. I don't know. Person says, I can see McIntyre facing Roman Reigns for the championship after Crown Jewel. Well, no shit. That's the house show matches. You probably read that. All the advertised house show matches from November to the end of the year are all Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. And the person says, 2 questions. Do you see Bloodline losing all their titles at WrestleMania next year, or lose their titles with separate nights? Separate nights, probably. I mean, eventually the Usos will just lose the belts, and they'll disappoint Roman in doing so. This person says, who do you want to see next face Shinsuke Nakamura for the IC title? My guesses would be Finn, Balor, Jeff Hardy, Ricochet, or Sheamus. Your thoughts? Finn would be a good one to challenge Nakamura, especially if he wins the King of the Ring. And then he can be like, hey, you were the last technical king. You're the Intercontinental Champion. I want to be more than just the King of the Ring. I also want the IC title. That would be really good. Jeff Hardy would do good. Ricochet, I just don't see them doing it, though. Great matches. Ricochet and Nakamura would have great matches. I just don't see them doing it. And finally, yeah, Sheamus would be fine as well. I'd actually rather see Sheamus and Cesaro back together as the bar, though, since they're both going to be on SmackDown. And this person says, last week during the Heyman Reigns segment, do you think they're getting ready to kick Paul Heyman out of the blood? Okay, first off, what? I'm going to try to read this again, but it's not really written well. Last week during the Heyman Reigns segment, do you think they're getting ready to kick Paul Heyman out of the bloodline? Soon Paul felt like the kid. No. First off, you can't have 50,000 words in one sentence and words. No. That's brutal on a dyslexic person. Like, I could try to read it slow and decipher this, but I ain't going to, because I've told you guys I can't. I'm dyslexic. And reading shit like this, long run-on sentences that just, it's like 3 different things in one thing, just confuses the shit out of me because I can't comprehend it fast enough. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/PW Unlimited. Remember, we will be back live Monday. There's nothing this weekend, right? Yeah, Monday. Yes, because Bound for Glory is next weekend, the 23rd. We will be live for that. But with that, we'll be live back on Monday, talking Monday Night Raw. So with that, guys, have a great weekend. Tomorrow is AEW Dynamite, but I don't think I'm going to be able to watch it live. Keep an eye on the YouTube community tab and our Twitters, whether that's the PW Unlimited Twitter or my personal Twitter @TimmyBuddy. I will let you guys know if I'm going to go live. Right now, don't count on it, but I don't think I'm going to be available to do a live AEW review tomorrow. So just so you guys know, I got some stuff going on family-wise, and I have a meeting for a video production thing I'm working on. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do it all. So most likely I won't see you guys again until Monday to talk about Monday Night Raw. But with that, guys, have a great night, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.